Well, I got to tell you, it's a beautiful day to be here in Kilgore, Texas. I happen to be at, well, I think it's one of the coolest places around. It's the Texas Broadcast Museum, and you're not going to believe what we're going to find inside there. I'm going to give you a quick little video trip of the place, but I'm telling you, if you have never been to Kilgore, Texas, it's another great reason to stop by. The Texas Broadcasting Museum. So let's head inside. Yep, all right, walking in. Look at that, proud home of the Texas Radio Hall of Fame. Now this is what you see when you walk in, totally amazing. Look at all this equipment right here from all over different radio stations in Texas that have donated. And look at this, look at that old radio board right there. Oh my goodness. Look at the old radio right there. Hey, somebody's got an old video. That looks like my old stereo I had right there in college up in Lubbock. So, truly a cool museum. How many visitors do you get here in the museum every year, you think?
I don't know. We do. Dana could probably tell you.
We get a bunch, don't we?
Quite a few.
Oh, man. This is just, look at those. 2,000 a year?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to slowly walk into, look at this. Now, of course, this is a radio or TV engineer's paradise right here with everything. Oh, portable recording equipment. Look at that. Kids, this is how we used to do it back then.
Well, but
it works. Everything works in here, right?
Wire recorders. Most of it does.
Wow, look at that one.
Because I'm the one that makes it work.
So you're the engineer that makes it work.
Mm-hmm. And we put something out over here. Let's see if
Let's see.
just put it out.
Okay.
We've had it, but
You know, you didn't give us our name on this video. What's your name?
I'm Phil.
This is Phil. Oh, wow.
Let's see.
Okay, Phil. This one you've been working on? A wire recorder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, explain that.
Well, it's got wire. Let me get it.
You know, a lot of these radio guys here today have been wired before, but I think in different kind of ways, if you know what I'm talking about, right?
Here's one that's got tangled up.
So this is before tape. No way.
And it's, you know,
So,
it has iron in it because it can be magnetized.
okay, see, you're going way before. So what year is this?
Well, it'd be up to early 50s.
Okay.
Late 40s to early 50s. Let me see.
That's amazing.
We'll have to figure out.
Wouldn't it be cool to go back in time and actually work one of these things when they were brand new?
Mm-hmm.
Now that's obviously something that's been recorded. Listen to that.
Yes.
And you can see the wire right there going.
There's the head, and it's going up and down. It
Ah.
keeps the reels.
Okay, that is so cool. Thank you for showing us that. Wow. And of course, speaking of old, look at all these old radios right here. Man, this is the collection that I would love to have at my house. Look at this. Wow. All right, Phil, what you got for us?
You're talking about one you had.
Yeah.
1948 RCA Berkshire is what it was called.
This is the entire unit,
Yes,
entertainment system.
RCA came out with a line of hi-fi when hi-fi first began.
Right.
A higher quality sound. There's a Gerard turntable.
That you pull out.
It's 78. It's not 33,
Okay.
45 because that was before. But it's also
The
this
TV.
one's fancy in that it has a projection TV in it.
That's a projection TV?
And see, the
Wow.
one down here would have been the comparable one they sold that you could get. But
Man.
this for $3,250, you could.
32
$150
in the
48.
not many were sold, right?
No, only about 250, even of the hi-fi ones and not, I'm sure, many less that had the projection TV.
You know, if it was in just a different color, I think we would have had one at our house back then, only if it came in, you know.
Well, they had it in mahogany.
Mahogany. If we had maple, we would have had it, I tell you. That looks great. Wow. And it works.
It works. You could have bought 2 new Buicks for what this cost. Most houses didn't cost that much.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
50 pounds.
God. Well, let's wander around the museum. We're going to see some more great memorabilia. And again, you've got to come up and see this place in Kilgore. It's so cool. Look at these old radios. Okay, here's another strange contraption on here. I'll let you explain everything, Phil. What is this?
1939 Philco.
Okay.
And this unit, wireless remote control.
Wireless?
Uh-huh. And actually, this goes with a radio. It looks very similar to this, which I found one at a estate sale recently.
Wow.
And I've got it working with that, and we're doing a little to the cabinet and hope to have it out.
So that's a wireless control. Is that like a portable remote that you would take with you? Which, of course, shrunk down. Now, we all remember these remotes for TVs right here. I remember those exactly, yeah. Wow.
This one has a tube in it and batteries.
It's got to be pretty heavy, too, right?
Yes. You wouldn't get it lost in the side cushions.
I imagine not. Yeah, the dogs wouldn't chew on it either, would they? Yeah.
No, but who knew they had wireless in 1939?
I never knew that. That's so cool.
Right after the 1900.
Okay. Only play 78s, right?
Yes.
I mean, you wouldn't play the Beatles on this, or George Strait. How many times would you have to pump that thing up to play? How long would it last?
Probably about 2 sides with one. I don't wind it up too tight because I have to replace the springs.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do that again.
Okay, think about it. I bet the neighbors would really complain about that sound back then. But that was great.
And it's amazing how loud it is. No electronic.
Yeah. There's no volume control on it?
That's where the saying comes from, put a sock in it. We found that.
And I think a sock would fit in it.
Well, you just kind of stick it down.
Yeah, to muffle it a little bit. Who's that singing?
Al Jolson.
That's Jolson? Okay. And if we go over here, you can see it spinning right there. Wow. Okay, we're wandering through the Texas Broadcast Museum. This is what a control room would look like for, I guess, for TVs and stuff, behind the scenes and stuff right here. So you can see they cover both radio and TV. And of course, these aren't live. These are canned footage from back then. But switchers, which we actually used this in college class at UT back in the 80s when I was there, that switcher. So, yeah, interesting. Okay, when I first got involved in radio back in the mid-70s, it was kind of like this, but this is actually, this board is probably 1980s, right? It's what we call the board, how you would operate the radio back then before it was computerized. This is what we call a board. And this is a little more modern than I learned. I learned on an old Gates.
Well,
But it was, but the setup was like this. You had the cart machines, you had the turntables for the 45s, you had your stack of 45s right here, you had the microphone, and you had to learn. It's funny because we're so used to multitasking now. We had to multitask so much back then. You had to make sure you had the right mic level for your microphone. You had to start the song on time. You had to end the other song. You had to press the, I mean, it was a lot more multitasking back then than right now. And of course you had the reel-to-reel, which you would record phone calls on and then splice, and you had 2 minutes to edit everything to put on the air. So.
we like to say this is the representative of the 1967 radio station.
Yeah. Well, that's accurate. And it's, I mean, but, and then you had the music clocks right there, which every record was color coordinated to play so many per hour. You played the ones at the front of the stack, then you'd move it to the back of the stack, and that's how we did rotations back then. Those were the good old days, weren't they? Yeah. So, anyway, we're at the museum in Kilgore, Texas. Let's just go back here. They're getting ready for the big Texas radio induction ceremony today. So that's what this is right here. all set up. Look at that old remote unit and another one.
More audio boards and all that.
Oh yeah, there's the old TV studio right there. Look at this. Look at the old reel-to-reel. Whoops! I just saw myself on TV through that camera. Is it true that some of these cameras here were actually used during when Kennedy was assassinated? Right?
Yes.
Some
well,
stories.
Up front, we have one that was there when Oswald was shot.
Was shot. Okay, one of those cameras in the front.
And you know, down in the basement of the
Right, the old courthouse. Yeah.
And then this production bus was used in some of it, the Tibbetts funeral, and you know some of the stuff that went
Right.
on.
Now that's an old movie projector right there. Is that the old carbon movie projector?
Yeah.
That's not TV,
It
so
was
that's actually
originally a carbon arc.
yeah, carbon arc, which gave off poisonous gases. I remember it had to be vented outside.
Probably that's why
Yeah.
that's the chimney up on top.
Yeah, that part of this chimney. This is just fascinating. Here's the old kind of the TV part. Okay, I got to tell you what I was so excited about, because I walked over here yesterday when I got to the museum, and I saw some old friends right here. Look at that. This is one of the iconic signs that was over the Cavet Case building on North Lamar for many, many years. One side is Cavet, the other side is Case, and they've been relocated here to the museum. A bunch of us got together and helped make sure that these are, you know, preserved forever here at the museum. But since 1983 till now, hopefully even longer, part of my life right there on Cavet and Case. These were hanging on Lamar for a long time. And then when we moved to a different building called Penn Field, we took them with us and they hung in the lobby.
What was the station over on 19th Street?
19th Street?
Martin Luther King.
That was KNOW, I believe.
Okay. It was several. It was a TV station.
Oh, KTBC.
Okay.
That was the old, it's now KLBJ AM FM. But yeah,
I had a
Look
little
at that.
efficiency apartment there when I was going to UT.
how much was your apartment back then?
130.
Okay, yeah, it's been a while since you've been there. I put it that way. Look at all these.
Well, for 1 year, I shared an apartment with a friend. We had a 2-bedroom out on 51st Street, and it was 260 something.
You know, it's probably going for about $4,000 a month now.
Really?
Yeah. You never should have moved out, man. Controlled rent. And look, they got some old jute boxes right there. We're going to wander over there in just a second. Okay, let me tell you something about this board right here. This board came out of the old KLBJ building in Austin. We got some friends over there. I know they would love to see this thing again. Look at that. You know, this is what the old radio studios used to look like back then. That's how you would record and edit your phone calls. The old Associated Press, that's how we would get the news. I'll never forget in Sweetwater, when Elvis died, this thing going off. You know, just whenever there was a bulletin, the bells would ring. This is another old looking setup. What year is this? This is mid-30s? Yeah.
Of course, this is a transcription record.
Wow.
16-inch. That was before tape. I mean, that was the only way they had of
Yeah.
copying a program. And so when, like Jack Beatty did his program, they'd start cutting it at the first of the program. And
Yeah.
it'd go about 30 minutes on the side.
This is the radio board, really, that I grew up on, that I started back in the mid-70s in Sweetwater. It looked like this. Lots of bells and whistles, and it looks very familiar. It was Gateway, that's right. So it was almost like this, but it had the different channels. Well, again, listen, if you ever make your way to Kilgore, you've got to come by and stop and visit this museum, because it is just beautiful. Look at that, man. Oh, I'm tempted to go and change every one of them to 98.1 KVIT, but a lot of these are AM radios. But you've got to stop by and take a look at this museum. I mean, it's a labor of love, and It's just so amazing, and I could spend all day in here punching buttons, just checking out everything. So check it out, of course. It's in Kilgore, Texas, beautiful town. Texas Broadcast Museum, covering, well, every aspect of broadcast. Radio and TV, and as you can see, they have got everything in the world. Ah, the golden age of radio. Look at that right there. Okay, I got to tell you about this. This is history right here. This is the type of board that we had at KLBK FM that we would use. And you had to be careful because whenever you'd cue up a record, if you didn't have this turned down all the way, you could hear the queuing up on the air. It was a little bitty 4-channel board like this for KLBK FM, which later went to KFMX when I was on the air working. I was the first person to say KFMX on the air back in 1980, 81. So yeah, but that's the type of board we had before they moved to another building. But yeah, that brings back memories.